Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of Life Stories. My name is Trent, and we are back with more stories from Reddit/entitledparents. Buckle in, because our first one is a long one. Our first story is titled, Medusa Was My Principal. So my high school reunion is coming out this year, and I had already gotten my invitation to RSVP ahead of time in the mail. I didn't really enjoy high school, so I might not go. That is a story for another subreddit. This is the story about how an entitled woman became our principal and made everyone miserable. So, my sophomore year, our old principal finally retired. He had been there for years, and it was just time for him to retire. Now, we all thought the job would go to the assistant principal. He was qualified for the job, well liked by the students, and he also had been there for years. For this story, I'll call him Mr. Cool. Mr. Cool was liked by everyone. He would loan students lunch money if they needed it, sign permission slips, give us a pass if we were running late for class for a reason like we couldn't get our locker open or we got held up in another class, and would even perform magic tricks. We thought he would be the new principal. Nope! Somehow, our entitled woman snatched the job. I will call her Medusa. Medusa was just a horrible woman. We don't even know how she got a job. Rumor has it she used her husband's position as a member of the school board to get the job. It's possible that this is true, but I'm not sure. My little town does do some shady things. Medusa immediately started enacting strict and harsh rules on us. Here are some that I remember. 1. If you were late to lunch, you didn't eat. In her words, you should have been here before the doors closed if you were hungry. 2. No more vending machines. We had a small area by the auditorium that had a couple soda machines and 3 snack machines. We were only allowed in the area during free time between lunch and our 4-hour class or after school. She had the machines removed, saying the reason was, we don't need to be eating that junk food. Instead, she set up a table with things like bottled water and fresh fruit. No one really bought it, since a bottle of water was $3.50, when at the machine, it would only have cost us 75 cents. Drinks now had to be inspected by teachers. It was a very stupid rule. She claimed students had been sneaking in things such as vodka, pretending it was water. If you had a drink with you, first you showed it to your teacher. They all got tiny plastic cups to take a small sample and drink it to test it. You then got a small note to show other teachers the drink passed. The rule was ridiculous. Many of the teachers didn't do it. They knew we were good kids. And rule number 4. Seniors could no longer wear their class/Letterman jacket. This rule pissed off everyone. As a senior, if you had bought a class jacket or earned a Letterman one from the sports/clubs, you were allowed to wear it as part of your school uniform. She banned this. You were sent to the office if you were caught wearing one of these on school grounds. The jackets could even be confiscated. The list goes on. I could go on all day listing the crazy things this woman did. It was that bad. School became miserable. She even had cameras set up near bathrooms to catch kids smoking. No one smoked since all the bathrooms had smoke detectors. If you smoked, you went behind the music building like everyone else. Anyway, my senior year, Medusa went full-on crazy. There were cameras everywhere now, new rules like no talking between classes, and no backpacks. I couldn't wait to graduate. Now, while I was a sophomore, a girl in freshman class was killed in a boating accident. My senior year, a group of students, including myself, got together to make shirts to remember her. They wanted to wear them to school, so of course we needed Medusa's permission. The shirts weren't crazy, mind you. They were black with the girl's picture on it and saying something along the lines that she hasn't been forgotten. We only wanted to wear them for a day. 1 day! We go to Medusa's office, explain what we want to do, and ask if we can. She explodes on us. I'll cut her rant short. This is not part of the school uniform. Anyone caught with one of these shirts will be suspended for 3 days. We just want to remember her. She would be a junior this year. We'll tuck them in as part of the uniform, and they're black. Our uniform was black, white, or green shirts. I said, do not bring them on school property. Honestly, the girl is dead. She is dead, buried, and you need to move on. Several students, including myself, left her office in tears over this. I even called my mom to pick me up because I couldn't stop crying. The next day, I found out that many students just walked out of their classes and left. They performed a walkout in protest. Medusa was furious. She gave some students like a month of detention for this. Furthermore, she doubled down on disrespecting students who passed, suddenly either due to illness or accident. When a member of the senior class died due to cancer, she made an announcement saying, "Anyone caught leaving flowers, notes, or idling around the student's locker will be sent to detention. This is a place for learning. You can mourn at home." Teachers were even told to send crying students to the office. They did not. Other members of the staff tried to reason with her, including Mr. Cool. She threatened to have him fired. Anyone who tried to stand to this power-crazy woman was threatened with losing their jobs or being written up. Not even her own son was safe. She kicked her son out of the house when she learned he was dating a black girl. I wish I was making this up. His father divorced her. His son was 16, and she kicked him out of her house because he refused to break up with the girl. Finally, by some grace of every god known to man, it's time for graduation. Now, at my school, seniors got out of school 2 weeks early to handle our affairs. In those 2 weeks, we cleaned out our lockers, turned in our books, got our yearbooks, and there was a small ceremony for those who got scholarships. We also had to practice for the actual graduation ceremony. This meant spending hours in the hot Louisiana sun while we marched up and down the football field. Everything had to be perfect for Medusa. Oh, and we had already been warned not to throw our hats. "Anyone caught throwing their caps after the ceremony will not be given their high school diploma, and I'll be calling your parents." Medusa was at every practice. One of the students was heavily pregnant and asked to sit down once to rest. "Not my fault you got knocked up. If you don't practice, you will not be walking from the ceremony. I better not see you sitting or slowing down everyone else." How our blood boiled at this. Oh no, hold on, it gets even worse. You've read this much, so let me put the cherry on top of her entitlement cake. Our class valedictorian had cerebral palsy. Now, he had the highest GPA in the whole school. A perfect GPA, smart as a whip and super nice, sweet, and everyone loved him. Every girl said he was their boyfriend. The valedictorian always gives the speech and helps hand out the fake paper diplomas for the ceremony. Now, he was in a wheelchair, and he could no longer walk on his own, and had an assistant to help him get back and forth from classes. Medusa told everyone that he would not be allowed to give his speech or allowed on stage. Why? "He is handicapped and doesn't speak very loudly. No one in the crowd will be able to understand what he says because of his disorder. Someone else will have to read the speech and assist in handing out the diplomas." Everyone, and I do mean everyone, including members of staff and my senior class, refused to read the speech or take his place. He had earned being valedictorian. We told our parents, who went to the school board. I wish I could say Medusa was fired, but she wasn't. Instead, she just forced to allow him on the stage to hand out the diplomas, but she didn't let him give his speech. Instead, she read it, which was heartbreaking for him. I was so happy to get away from that woman. As a last form of protest, when everyone had gotten their diplomas, we all threw up our caps, everywhere. We still got our diplomas. Today, Medusa is no longer at the school. The story I heard was that she was fired after she humiliated a group of students in a school assembly for being obese. Parents got lawyers involved, and the school board didn't want a lawsuit. Mr. Cool is acting principal. Sorry this is such a long story, but the woman was one of the reasons I didn't enjoy school. She was a miserable, entitled woman who in turn forced everyone to be miserable just like her. A monster of a Karen drunk on the power of being able to control the lives of high school students. How messed up can you be? Edit. Since some people are messaging me with questions on how this all went on for a whole year and even beyond when I graduated, I decided to make an update. First, keep in mind that this town is small. Our population peaked when we reached 6,000. That makes us only number 57 in large cities in Louisiana. We're known for some shady backroom local politics. This is how Medusa was able to do the things she did to us with little to no consequences on her actions. She knew someone who knows someone who knows someone who can sweep this under the rug. The school board was known for letting things slide until they got enough angry phone calls from parents to try and do something to calm them down. Plus, my parents didn't believe some of the things I told them. Your principal isn't denying students food, OP. Don't lie. I know high school is hard, but we've all been there before, blah blah blah. They didn't believe a lot of stuff. This is possibly why it took so long for her to finally be fired. My niece is now a junior. Medusa got fired when she was a freshman. I believe because a few of the students were military, and thanks to the military base, our town gets extra income. They apparently get money for every military child in the school. The last thing the school or town wanted was for the military to pull all those kids out of the school and send them back to schools only on the base. They had threatened this before. The general at the time made it very clear that he would have a high school built, staffed, and pull every military child out of that school in a heartbeat. I know the story might not sound true, but I promise it is. Medusa was a bitter, entitled, self-centered woman who just hated everyone and everything. If you got questions for me, leave them in the comments, and I'll answer as many as I can. Wow, OP. Mad props to you and all the other students for being able to stick it out, because that sounds terrible. I'm so glad she got removed at the end of all of it. Anyway, as I said at the beginning, this is definitely a long story, and that's all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. As usual, thank you so much for tuning into Life Stories. My name is Trent. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more Reddit content coming your way soon, and I will see you guys later.